Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. So in this video, I'm going through my transfer tips ahead of Matchday 2. So obviously the Matchday is not over yet, so some players have played and we have some information on them and some players haven't played. But we need to get this out early. We need to look to start making our transfers before the end of Matchday 1, just to make sure that I guess we don't miss a deadline. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe and smash a like on the video if you do end up liking it. We'll start off with the goalkeepers. So I think Lunin is a very, very nice option at 4.5 million. He has Slovakia and Belgium next. Obviously, some players will be good for the next 2 match days. Some players will only be good for the next match day. I haven't really picked players that are good just for matchday 3 though, as I feel like a lot of people might be playing a chip in matchday 2 and matchday 3. So for example, for me, I'm on the wild card and then limitless matchday 3. So really I only need to be looking at players that have got a good fixture in matchday 2, whereas someone that is, I guess, not playing any chips in matchday 2 and they're using a chip in matchday 3, again, they would still be only looking at 1 match day. But for people that are playing their wild card in this match day and no chips in match day 3, then maybe you need players that have good fixtures in both games. And Lunin, to be totally honest with you, only has the good fixture in match day 2. He has Belgium in match day 3, which I guess on paper does look like a tough game, but Belgium could already be qualified by then, as it is the final group game. So potentially they might rest players and that might give Lunin the chance to actually get a clean sheet in this game. But overall, I think Ukraine are going to be very solid. Obviously, we haven't seen them play yet, as this is being filmed before their first fixture. But Lunin started for Real Madrid most of the season. Ukraine looked very, very solid in qualifying and stuff like that. So I do think at 4.5 million, he is probably the best goalkeeper to go for at that price. Also, a player that has a good fixture in matchday 2, but not so good in matchday 3. But the same sort of rule does apply for him. It is summer, so the Swiss goalkeeper, and Switzerland obviously do play Scotland in matchday 2. However, Switzerland have actually played in matchday 1, and yeah, they didn't get a clean sheet, but they did come off an emphatic victory. And to be honest, they pretty much smashed Hungary and looked very, very good. Yes, again, no clean sheet, but Summer has been an incredible goalkeeper for them. And at 5 million to get that Scotland fixture, where we saw Scotland against Germany. I know they had 10 men, but they did look terrible. And they, to be honest, I don't think they would have scored if Rudiger didn't head it in his own net. However, again, the same rule does apply with matchday 3. Germany should already be qualified by then, and to be honest, potentially Switzerland could already be qualified by then as well, with the fact that if they do beat Scotland. But even if they don't, I can't see them, I guess, resting Summer, but Germany might be able to rest a few players if they have smashed their first 2 match days. And then, for example, that could be a fixture to see whoever finishes top, which potentially could happen. But yeah, like I said, I really do fancy a clean sheet for that game and for Switzerland, to be honest with you. Next up, I've got Jordan Pickford in there at 5 million. I know there's been a lot of talk about England's defence, and again, this is being filmed before England's first game, but Denmark and Slovenia, I actually think are very good fixtures for Pickford. I think the Denmark game, I think Denmark are pretty attacking, which is obviously a little bit of a worry, but I think that means he'll face a lot of shots and potential to actually get man of the match by being, I guess, saving loads of shots, saving loads of chances. And that Slovenia game where potentially England could already be qualified, someone like Pickford, I doubt he's going to change the goalkeeper in the group stage. There's no need to. So I think Pickford can be solid for that one. overall, if I had the choice to pick one of these goalkeepers, I'd probably have to go for Lunin just because of the price. And I think the fact that he's got Belgium in the last game, I think it's a much better fixture than Germany. At the same time, I know I've said that, again, Germany could be through, Switzerland could be through, but I think I'd still rather play Belgium as a fixture, and I think you're saving 0.5 million as well, which for me does add up and can make a difference. With Summer, I do really like him for that Scotland fixture. I think that's almost a guaranteed clean sheet for him. Like I said, he didn't keep a clean sheet in that game against Hungary. He only saved one shot as well and conceded one goal, so there wasn't a lot of shots on him, but Hungary didn't look great at all. And Scotland, to be honest, I can't see them causing Switzerland much threat with the way Switzerland played in that game. But overall, I think I'd go for Lunin just to save the money, and I do think he has better fixtures. Pickford is an interesting one. I'll definitely wait and see how England line up in that game against Serbia. But I do think for 5 million, he's probably one of the best options to go for if you do want the England coverage over the next 2 match days. I'd probably try and wait until match day 3 to get him in though, because I think Denmark can be solid in terms of going forward. But because obviously they've got Eriksen, Højlund, Højbjerg's an attacking threat for them. But for me, if you needed a goalkeeper where maybe one that you've brought in hasn't played or something like that, or you're not happy, or they have a tough fixture, then I think Pickford can be nice. But overall, I think go for Lunin. Let's get on to the defenders. So we'll move on to the defence. With the defence, again, I've picked a few players that might have 2 good fixtures or might just have a good match day 2 fixture. We'll start off with Cancelo. So I haven't seen the Portugal game yet. That is later on this week, next week actually. So it is going to be tough to see how they do line up. But Cancelo for me at 6 million, and with Turkey and Georgia next, I think he's the perfect player to keep. I think he was perfect to get in for match day 1 as well. For those of you that have got him in, I'd definitely be keeping. If you don't have him in, definitely wait and see how he does in that first match day, the match day 1. But yeah, other than that, I can't see him. I think he's going to be an incredible player for this whole group stage. And especially with Portugal's group, it's looking very, very good. Not only have they got Czech Republic in the first fixture, which again is not an easy fixture, but it's a good fixture. Then they've got Turkey, which again, a lot of people saying Turkey's a tough fixture, but then they've got Georgia. So for me, Cancelo was going to be good throughout the group stage, and I think he's still good now to bring in. And at 6 million, he's got 3 goals in qualifying. I think, yeah, we do want to look to bring in Portugal players if you are on a strategy that needs players, I guess, to bring in for 2 game weeks. Next up, we've got Gavardio. It's not, I guess the way I want to put it is it's not easy to recommend a player that has just got beat 3-0 and conceded 3 goals. But I can't see that happening against Albania for Croatia. They're going to have to win this game to have any sort of chance of going through to the next round. And at 5.5 million, Gavardio, I think, can be a nice option to go for to cover that Croatia defence. Again, Croatia looked so bad, so leggy. Spain just tore them apart. But I think this game, Albania, I don't see Albania doing any damage. I know they played well against Italy and they went 1-0 up and stuff like that. But for me, I can't see them doing that against Croatia. And I think Croatia are going to want a reaction and, I guess show some fight. Whereas against Spain, they looked a bit lackluster and a bit like they've, I guess, had enough and didn't really want to be there. I can't see that happening in match day 2 though. And with Gavardio, he hasn't really been attacking with Croatia, but we've seen him from Manchester City in the Premier League. He's been attacking, he's been getting goals. In the league last season, he got 4 goals, 1 assist, which doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of them were the last 10 games of the season. Like I said, Albania is a really, really good fixture, even though Albania did look okay against Italy in match day 1. Next up, I've got a Belgium fullback. So his name is De Cooper, I want to say. 4.5 million. And for me, these next two fixtures for Belgium do look very, very solid, especially that Romania fixture. But if you had to keep him for the Ukraine fixture, I wouldn't hate it at all, because I do think that is going to be an even game and potentially a cagey game. Belgium weren't, I guess, traditionally known for their defensive unit. I know they had good defences like Vermaelen, Company, Vertonghen, but obviously they had Roberto Martinez, who wasn't the most defensive coach, but now I think they're a little bit more balanced, and I think someone like De Cooper can be a good option, especially last season in the Belgian Pro League. He got 3 goals, 10 assists, which is a really nice return. I think he'll start, and for 4.5 million, I think he's just a much better option than someone like Romain Faiz. Yes, he's only 4 million, but you're not going to get any attacking returns from him. Whereas De Cooper, we've seen him do it in the Belgian Pro League. He can get up and down that kind of fullback position, and pay that for 0.5 million more. I think it's worth it, and he's someone that you can keep throughout the group stage. So that is it for the defenders. If I had to choose one, I'd choose Cancelo. If obviously money wasn't an issue. If you needed it for one match day, then I'd probably go for someone like De Cooper. But Gvardiol does look very solid. Again, if Croatia do decide to turn things around, then potentially you could go for Gvardiol. But overall, I'd probably go Cancelo if you had the money, and then De Cooper if you needed to save a bit of money. But obviously, yeah, both are good options. Let's get on to the midfield. So next up, we do have the midfielders, and just like the defenders and the goalkeepers, some of these players will only be good for one match day. And we'll start off with Sabitzer, so 6.5 million. He's got Poland and the Netherlands, and in match day 1 he had France, so he's still not played yet, but he's going to play France. So really, this match day 2 is the only time I think personally you can own him. And I've heard real good things about Austria this season. They've got Ralf Rangnick as the manager. I've heard he's kind of transformed them. And I know they're obviously missing David Alaba. But for me, I actually do think Sabitzer can be a nice option. Not known as the most attacking, I guess, midfielder. And obviously we didn't see much from him during his time at Manchester United. But we know he can get in the box and he can get on the end of things. For example, for Dortmund last season, he got 4 goals, 3 assists in 25 Bundesliga matches. But in the Champions League, he got 6 attacking returns in 12 matches. So we've seen him do it. But I think the key thing to note for Sabitzer is his attacking returns for Austria. So in 7 qualifying matches, he got 4 goals, 2 assists, which for me is very, very good. He's going to be on some set pieces. He's potentially going to be on penalties too. And to be honest, I think he can be a nice option just for match day 2. But if you are on a strategy that I guess you need him for 2 match days, I probably won't go for him because of that Netherlands fixture. And Netherlands do look pretty solid defensively. Next up, I want to talk about Kevin De Bruyne. So I won't go too much into De Bruyne. We all know how great De Bruyne is. Obviously not his best season last season, where he only got 4 goals, 10 assists for Man City. But I think he's now fully fit. He's had a few, I guess, friendlies under his belt. He's ended the season with Man City winning the league. And for 9.5 million, I think the next 2 fixtures for Belgium, and especially, like I said, with De Cooper, that Romania game, I think is going to be very good. I don't see Romania as a solid team. I think they're going to be one of the weakest in the tournaments, and I think having De Bruyne for match day 2 can be a very, very nice option. And then if you have to keep him for the Ukraine game, then that's okay. Not ideal, but that's okay. Obviously, we haven't seen Sabitzer or De Bruyne yet, which is a key, I guess, thing to note. So definitely wait and see how they play. But for me, at the minute, I do really want to target their match day 2 fixtures. A player that we have seen play and has absolutely smashed it is Ibisha, so the Swiss midfielder. He's actually meant to be a defensive midfielder, but to be honest, when I watched him the other day against Hungary, he was anything but a defensive midfielder. He was almost playing as a right winger, and I think that's because of the talent that the Swiss have got. They've got Xhaka, who I guess is more of a defensive midfielder. So I guess maybe Abisha has the license to go forward more. But he got an assist, he got a goal, he got 3 ball recoveries, and obviously one of his goals was outside the box, so he got an extra point. He ended up with 12 points against Hungary, which is very, very good. But like I said, he is a defensive midfielder. He hasn't done it for his club in terms of attacking wise. He hasn't done it for Switzerland in terms of attacking wise. But for me, there was a clear, I guess, sign that he was going to be one of the most attacking in that midfield yesterday. And at 5 million, he could be an absolute bargain against that Scotland defence. They obviously conceded 5 against Germany, Scotland, and Swiss looked very, very good against Hungary. So at 5 million, he could be an absolute steal for Matchday 2. Matchday 3, I wouldn't play him. I think this is definitely just for Matchday 2. But at the same, it's a massive, massive punt considering he is a defensive midfielder. But he's not playing there. He's not playing there. He's delivered a goal and assist in Matchday 1. For me, that's enough to bring him in at that 5 million price point. If you can afford someone like De Bruyne, then I probably would go for him. But if you're comparing him to other 5 million midfielders, like maybe someone like Jorginho, or even a million more Xhaka, who did get man of the match, but he didn't get any attacking returns. I think Abisha is definitely better than them. So yeah, definitely a player to watch out for and potentially bring in for that Scotland game, which could get messy if Switzerland perform the way they did against Hungary and Scotland perform the way they did against Germany. Let's move on to the strikers now. So now we've got the forwards, and we'll start off with Patrick Schick. So the Czechia forward, he comes in at 7 million. He's got Georgia in Matchday 2 and Turkey in Matchday 3. So, and obviously a really, really nice fixture against Georgia in Matchday 2. And again, Turkey, yes, they are, I guess, predicted to be a strong team. But for me, I think that's going to be an even game, Czechia v Turkey, and potentially that's going to decide maybe who finishes second, especially with the fact that Georgia are in that group. But yeah, like I said, for me, Patrick Schick has proved in the past, has proved throughout the years that he is a very, very good striker. In the Euros in 2021, he got 5 goals in 5 games. In the World Cup qualifiers, he got 5 attacking returns in 5 games. In the Euro qualifiers, he got 4 goals in 6 games. And for Leverkusen last season, wasn't his best year. And to be honest, wasn't really a starter, but he did get 7 goals in 20 matches, which is still a good return. And for me, having him against Georgia, which is, I guess, one of the weakest teams in the tournament, and the fact that Czech Republic have just played Portugal, obviously we haven't seen that yet, but in terms of Matchday 1, they would have just played Portugal. They're going to need to probably win that Georgia game, as I don't see them getting a result against Portugal. And then going into that Turkey game, anything can happen, and he's still going to be a good option for that. Do I think there are better options at 7 million in terms of forwards? I probably don't, to be totally honest with you. I think that price bracket is a little bit difficult. You've got people like Doku, who is not even a striker. Mitrovic, potentially, now that he's played England in Matchday 1, does have better fixtures. Skamaka has Spain, so you don't really want to get him. I actually don't think there are better strikers with better fixtures than Patrick Schick. So if you are looking for someone, especially for Matchday 2 and potentially for Matchday 3 as well, as a duo, then I think Patrick Schick is the good player to go for. Next up, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. Again, I don't want to go too much into him, as we know it's Cristiano Ronaldo. He comes in at 10 million. He's got Turkey and Georgia. Again, Turkey is a tough game. It's not going to be easy, but again, if Portugal are going to want to win this tournament, they're going to have to beat teams like Turkey. And then Georgia in Matchday 3 is a very, very good fixture. And I guess a lot of people might not know how Ronaldo has done this season, because he's obviously not in one of the top 5 European leagues. But he's got 35 goals and got 11 assists in 31 matches, which for any league in the world is ridiculous. For Portugal in qualifying, he got 10 goals, 2 assists. Yeah, for me, he's still got it. He's probably much more of a goal scorer now. He was starting to get like that anyway towards the Juventus and up of his career, but now he is a full goal scorer, and he started to add assists to his game as well, to be totally honest with you. So I think Ronaldo still is a clinical player. We've seen him absolutely smash Republic of Ireland in a friendly right before the tournament started. We'll see how he gets on against Czechia in that match day 1. Again, this has been recorded before that game happens, but for me, Turkey and Georgia, I think that's very, very tasty, especially that Georgia game. If Portugal go into that Georgia game needing to win or needing to get a result, then I think Ronaldo captain is probably going to be one of the best captains going into that game. And at 10 million, he's cheaper than Kane, cheaper than Mbappe. For me, can be a very nice player for match day 2 and match day 3. Next up, it could be a bit obvious, but I don't think a lot of people will be looking at him, and it is Kai Havertz at 7.5 million, an absolute bargain. I did mention him in one of my, one of the live streams I did on FPL Matchday's channel. Go check him out if you don't know him already. That Kai Havertz could potentially be a good option at 7.5 million, and I think especially now we've seen he's taken a penalty. I don't know if he's on penalties, but for me, him taking and scoring a penalty is enough to say that he's on penalties. Some people have argued that it's because Gundogan was fouled for the penalty, and it was a horrific foul, leg breaker almost. But I think why would you take someone off that has just scored a penalty? I don't know why you would. And to be honest, he did look very, very good up front for Germany, and he got the assist as well, which is massive. We know Kai Havertz is not just a clinical goal scorer; he is an all-round kind of number 10 playing up front. The fixtures for Germany, obviously on paper, not as good as that Scotland game where he obviously got the goal and he got an assist, but he only played 60 minutes, which is ridiculous. And they've got Hungary next, and Hungary looks, to be honest, so open, especially in the last 20 minutes against Switzerland. So who knows, anything could happen in that game. And then they play Switzerland in match day 3, which could be a tricky one. So I probably wouldn't recommend Kai Havertz if you need him for match day 3, because I think they potentially could be through by then. If they beat Hungary, they would be through by then. So yeah, for me, I think Kai Havertz is definitely for one match day 2. Ronaldo, again, wait to see what happens in that Czechia v Portugal game. And then Patrick Schick, I think, is a good option for both match days. Overall, I'd probably go for Schick because of that Georgia fixture in match day 2. But again, Ronaldo has the same fixtures, just the other way around. But I feel like Portugal potentially could be qualified by match day 3. If you like this video, please smash a like and let me know what you think of these transfer tips in the comment section below. Do you agree? Are there any players that you think that I should be bringing in, that you should be bringing in, that others should be bringing in? And smash a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. It does help me out a lot. And yeah, good luck for the match day.